again, everybody. Back again here at 2 in the morning, the night of the vice presidential debates, October 7th, 2020. There's a couple things I want to talk about tonight. The first thing I want to talk about is Donald Trump's white supremacist right-hand man, Stephen Miller. Trump's trashy right-hand man gets COVID-19. That should be the headlines. This is one time where I'm actually not going to... I don't think I'm going to tread lightly. I think I'm going to kind of revel in this. Stephen Miller is a piece of human trash. This is a man who, over the past few years, has built his career on white supremacy, pushing the narrative at Breitbart. This is a man who, this is a guy who is too racist for Breitbart. This is a guy who was pushing the white genocide narrative at Breitbart, the same white genocide narrative that they have in South Africa. Whatever, but he had the president's ear. He can get that out there, and people believe it. Unfortunately, people are ready to believe it. People want to believe it, and that's where we're at. I mean, he's fallen victim to the virus that his boss called a hoax. The same virus that Trump called a hoax. His trashy white supremacist right-hand man has caught the virus as well. By the way, Trump seems to be the only person throughout the entire current history of COVID-19 to have caught the virus and seem to have magically just brushed it off. I mean, we know that it comes back to get you, that it comes in waves. Someone like Herman Cain was supposedly doing fine, and then he passes away. And Donald Trump is magically okay. If by now you haven't seen the video of him struggling to breathe, type it into your search engine and just, type in the video, Trump struggling to breathe. You can see it. His shoulders are engaged. His neck is engaged. The guy is obviously in pain. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to diagnose it, but I heard the word lung infection getting tossed around. It's very possible. But, I mean, Trump is not going to beat the virus. But, I mean, this is more anti-science, more lies, more BS coming out of the White House. The White House that Donald Trump has also compromised. So the White House is the center of leadership of the entire free world, whatever that used to mean. Donald Trump is not the leader of the free world. Freedom is not his goal. Justice is not his goal. Things like equality, equity, these are not his goal. But Donald Trump has compromised the White House, and he continues to compromise the White House. Why? Because he only cares about himself. And if he's sick, well, then it is what it is. And if everyone gets sick, then that's how it goes. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is the guy. Donald Trump has said that he's a wartime president and took no responsibility during the entirety of this pandemic. He let the states battle themselves for resources to fight the virus. I mean, when he went public a couple of days ago, he said that he's learning more about the coronavirus. He's learning more about COVID. What have you been doing all this time when you're the president of the United States? It's a pandemic that has killed 212,000 people as of today, as of within an hour ago when I looked it up. The equivalent of 71 9/11s. You see these people online. I saw this woman yesterday with her 9/11 background photo, trying to downplay COVID, and I'm just like, the cognitive dissonance, the unintelligence, the ignorance, the inability to grasp how the real world is. It's frightening. I mean, it's not funny. There's people laughing at it. They think it's silly. They think it's funny. None of this is funny. This is terrifying, right? Trump is going to put a religious fundamentalist on the Supreme Court. 51% of white women voted in 2016 for this. They voted to have their own bodily autonomy taken away. That is frightening, right? Fascism is scarier when there's more people going along with it. When the very people who are victimized, I don't even want to say fascism. That's not fair. I don't want to say fascism, but authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is worse when the people going along with it are the very people that are victimized. That's what makes it scary. That's what makes it scary, is 51% of white women went along with it. A lot of working class white guys went along with it. I know they're saying it was wealthier people. Thankfully, thank God, it was the wealthier people in whatever communities were out there that tended to vote for Trump. But it's still a shame. There's a lot of working class people, people of color, women, white women across the board that voted for Trump. And it's like they caught again, I keep saying it, whether I'm here, whether I'm on New Jersey Revolution Radio, whether it's on the regular podcast, I'm just tired of like the cognitive dissonance. Like I'm always, I'm not surprised, but I'm always blown away by just how willfully ignorant some people are. I don't know how to put it there. I mean, even if Donald Trump loses this election, there's still going to be tens of millions of people that voted for him. Tens of millions of people that are anti-science. That racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, these things aren't deal breakers. Right? These are the people who could magically tell when he's joking or not. These are the people who could magically tell when he's being serious. These are the people who can magically tell when he's not being racist and when he is being racist. Whatever. We all know the types. But going back to Stephen Miller, I found this article and it had some really good notes. And they said, look, at the time, more than 100 members of Congress, dozens of civil rights groups, and at least 138,000 people called on Stephen Miller to step down. Right? Again, this is the guy behind the Muslim ban. This is the guy who is too much of a white supremacist for Breitbart. The guy is not a good person. And for him to fall victim to COVID, I'm sorry. If you want me to feel bad for him, I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. I refuse. I will not insult my own intelligence, and I will not insult anyone else's intelligence. So let me get on to this debate. I did not sit and watch the entire debate from beginning to end. I did watch a good portion of it online on YouTube. I legitimately cannot sit and watch these debates live from beginning to end. They give me anxiety. They really just depress me. I want you to keep in the back of your head that this is a country of 300 plus million people. And in a country of 300 plus million people, we get to choose between two mediocre old white dudes to be president. Two racist old white men. Two creepy, gropey old white men. And then for the vice presidential debate, we only get one vice presidential debate, which is incredibly insulting. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, if you're sitting here thinking that this in any way makes sense, it's ridiculous. But again, keep that in the back of your head. In a country of over 300 million people, we get one vice presidential debate. Yeah, that totally makes sense. This is something that if aliens came down in their starship and they looked at us, they said that would make sense. One thing is evident after this debate. It's the same thing I've been saying. I've been saying it since before I was podcasting, since before I had any kind of web presence. I was saying it when I was an undergraduate. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they lack a killer instinct, right? The Democrats are doing their don't rock the boat thing, which, I mean, if you want to win, go ahead, don't rock the boat. It's a smart strategy, but it's not a strategy that wins hearts and minds. Again, Biden and Kamala Harris are not really in favor of anything. They're against Donald Trump, right? I'll keep saying it. Bernie Sanders had a campaign that was in favor of things. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are running on not being Donald Trump, and that's a shame. It's a shame. I understand that Harris doesn't want to be the angry black woman, but I think people want to see that. I think people are genuinely angry. I think millions of Americans of all kinds of backgrounds are angry. If you're white, if you're black, you're probably angry in America. If you're struggling to make to make ends meet, to pay the bills, you are angry. And Democrats do not embody that anger. They do not embody that rage. It's almost pathological. It's almost intentional. But anyway, I mean, the past 4 years, there's so much to go after Donald Trump about. To go after Donald Trump about. You've got these protests and how the police have absolutely failed in their response to these protests. You've got children in cages, right? Children dying behind cages, children being sexually assaulted. While people are freaking out about QAnon and QAnon getting kicked off Facebook, I got to talk about that again soon, right? Oh, that's got to be a good one. There's actual children. There's actual children being sexually assaulted by government employees, but nobody wants to do anything about that because they're brown. Forced hysterectomies, whether I'm on Southpaw, whether I'm on New Jersey Revolution Radio, I always say the same thing. Whatever conservative America is afraid of, whatever their conspiracy theory is, whatever conservative white America is afraid of, whatever their pet conspiracy theory is, no matter what it has already happened to people of color. That's a fact. Government intervention, forced hysterectomies, sterilization, right? That's what that is. Just abuse, violence, torture, murder, forced relocation, separation of families. All the things that white conservative America is afraid of, that they're afraid of the government doing to them, the government has already done to people of color and continues to do today. This is not a fantasy. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is reality. This is happening right now. But we want to talk about government pedophiles drinking, was it the adrenal gland, whatever nonsense this QAnon conspiracy theory is. It's absurd. By the way, October 28th, I'm going to be teaching a course on it. More about that coming up. But I mean, trillions of dollars in tax cuts. Pence is anti-Roe v. Wade. We can go after him for being anti-Roe v. Wade. Pence, you talk about freedom. Your party talks about freedom. Why do you want to take away a woman's right to choose? Why do you want to take away a woman's control of her own body? You talk about freedom. What is this? What does this mean? But they don't do it. Democrats are pathologically obsessed with going after the high road, which realistically just means not looking like you want to win to the general public, right? People want someone who's going to fight for them. And Kamala Harris doesn't look like that. Joe Biden doesn't look like that. Again, this is a campaign of low expectations, low energy, low expectations. I mean, I just don't trust anyone going at, sorry, let me say this again. Don't trust anyone that is drinking too much of the Democratic Party Kool-Aid. Don't trust anyone who is putting Kamala Harris on a pedestal. I was on New Jersey Revolution Radio, right? And I said, look, I mean, Kamala Harris, she fought in favor of the death penalty. She has taken money from a number of shady Republicans. She pushed to keep prisoners incarcerated so they can fight wildfires in California, right? This is not a champion of the people. This is not a champion of the working class. This is not a racial justice hero. This is a corporate Democrat. This is not a communist as they want you to believe. Again, I'm just not too thrilled. Trump isn't getting walloped in the swing states. I have zero faith in this country to take a stand against racism. I just don't feel like inspired to think that Harris and Biden are going to win. I mean, there's 212,000 dead Americans. Like I said, the equivalent of 71 9/11s. 212,000 dead Americans, the equivalent of 71 9/11s. We need to go after them. I mean, the anti-vaxxers are on the loose. Pseudoscience is on the loose. These wimpy moderators. I mean, I think I'm just going to leave it there. They need that killer instinct. We need Democrats that are going to fight, and they don't look like they want to fight. They don't look like they're interested in fighting. Whatever. It's after 2 a.m. Good night, everybody.